Imagine this, you're walking home late at night, the streets quiet, your footsteps echoing against the cold pavement. Suddenly, you hear a sharp cry for help from a dark alley. Would you stop? Would you risk it? Tonight's story is about a janitor, a single father, and his young daughter, who did what no one else dared. By the end, you'll see why this story will stay with you forever. Stick around, and if it touches your heart, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, because stories like these deserve to be remembered. It was a chilly evening in the city. The towering buildings of glass and steel cast long shadows across the dimly lit streets. Olivia Kane, the youngest female CEO of a Fortune 500 company, had just left a board dinner. She was admired for her brilliance, but feared by her competitors, and envied by those who underestimated her. Despite her polished exterior, tonight she looked tired, her heels clicking on the pavement as she hurried toward her car, parked a few blocks away. She clutched her purse closer when she noticed three men step out from the shadows of an alley. Their smirks carried an intent that made her heart race. "Where you going, pretty boss lady?" one of them sneered, blocking her path. Olivia's breath caught in her throat. She tried to remain calm, pulling her phone from her purse, but one of them slapped it from her hand, sending it skidding across the ground. The alley walls seemed to close in on her as they circled around, leaving her nowhere to run. Her voice shook when she whispered, "Please, just let me go." At that same moment, a janitor named Marcus was walking home with his 10-year-old daughter, Lily. Marcus worked long nights cleaning office buildings, including the very company Olivia ran. His uniform was faded, his back sore from years of labor, but his heart was full because he had Lily, his reason to keep fighting. Lily, carrying her worn-out school backpack, tugged at his hand. "Daddy, did you hear that? Someone's in trouble." Marcus paused, his instincts sharp. He had served in the military years ago, but life hadn't been kind after. Now he lived paycheck to paycheck, raising his daughter alone. Yet the soldier in him never left. When he heard Olivia's muffled cry, he didn't hesitate. He peeked around the corner and saw the three men closing in on her. "Stay behind me, Lily," he whispered. But Lily, fearless in her own way, spotted something, a glass bottle lying on the ground. "Daddy, throw this." Her eyes burned with urgency, like she knew this was the moment they couldn't just walk away. Marcus grabbed the bottle, feeling the weight in his hand. He hadn't thrown anything like this since his service days, but his body remembered what his mind doubted. One of the men reached for Olivia's arm, and she flinched, bracing for the worst. That's when Marcus stepped forward from the shadows, his voice steady, commanding, "Let her go." The men turned, sneering at the janitor in a stained uniform and a little girl clutching his leg. "Or what?" They laughed. Marcus's arm drew back, his eyes locked on the largest man. In a single, fluid motion, he hurled the bottle. It sailed through the dim light and struck the man square in the forehead with a crack that echoed. He staggered backward, clutching his head in shock. The suddenness froze the others, just long enough for Marcus to charge forward. The alley erupted into chaos. Marcus shoved one man into the wall, knocking the wind out of him. Olivia, her heels useless, kicked the other with all her strength. Lily, small but fierce, screamed so loudly that it drew the attention of a couple passing by at the end of the street. The attackers, now rattled, realized they were outnumbered not by strength, but by courage. Muttering curses, they stumbled away into the night, leaving Olivia trembling against the wall. For a moment, silence returned to the alley. Olivia's chest heaved, tears pricking her eyes, not from weakness, but from the overwhelming relief that someone, a stranger, had chosen to protect her when she was most vulnerable. She looked at Marcus, sweat dripping down his temple, his arm protectively around Lily. You saved me," she whispered. Marcus shook his head. "My daughter did. She saw you first." Lily smiled shyly, stepping closer to Olivia. "I just told Daddy what to do. He's the strongest person I know." That night didn't end in the alley. Olivia, still shaken, insisted on driving Marcus and Lily home. In the car, she listened to their story, how Marcus had lost his wife years ago, how he juggled night shifts just to keep food on the table, and how Lily dreamed of becoming a lawyer one day so she could fight bullies with words. For the first time in years, Olivia felt something stir inside her, a connection beyond the world of business deals and boardrooms. This man, overlooked by society, had shown more bravery and honor than anyone she'd ever known. When they reached his modest apartment, she turned to him and said quietly, "The world needs men like you, Marcus. Not just as janitors, but as leaders." Weeks later, Olivia kept her word. She arranged for Marcus to be offered a job within her company, first in security, then in training leadership programs for young employees. Lily received a scholarship sponsored by the company, ensuring her education would never be in doubt again. The alley encounter became a story whispered throughout the city, of how a powerful CEO was saved not by her wealth or influence, but by the courage of a janitor and the quick thinking of his little girl. For Olivia, it was more than a rescue. It was a reminder that true strength doesn't wear a suit or carry a title. It comes from the heart, from those willing to act when everyone else turns away. And so, their lives intertwined in an unexpected friendship, each learning from the other. Olivia found humility and gratitude, Marcus found opportunity and respect, and Lily found inspiration that her voice mattered, even against the darkest